Rock Lee, epitome of what a grinder should be. The art and discipline matched by no other in the village. The Leaf Village's handsome devil, Bushy Brows, Konoha's green beast. This guy has God knows how many nicknames. While he might be in a world of ninjas full of many magical powers, we as the audience can still resonate with his tenacity to never give up when times get tough. Rock Lee might have been a secondary character in Naruto, but there's a reason why he's a fan favorite, my favorite in the series, and still beloved by many to this day. Lee's origins are pretty vague compared to other fighters. His biological parents aren't known, and there's no record of him having any other family either. While we don't know if his parents played any sort of influence on his character, we do know Bruce Lee was the motivation when creating him in the first place. While fans see that they have the same last name and a very similar appearance, there's more connections to them than just what meets the eye. Or the jumpsuit, because that was inspired by Bruce Lee's movie Game of Death in 1973. But I'm not really trying to talk about that. One that particularly sticks out is Rock Lee's practice of Jeet Kune Do. Jeet Kune Do, abbreviated as JKD, is a martial art created by Bruce Lee himself, which was referenced as the old version of MMA. The reason for this is obvious when you see that JKD follows the 4 combat ranges mentioned, which are kicking, punching, trapping, and grappling. This is where it's extremely unique, as most martial arts just specialize and focus on 1 or 2. It relies on counterattacking the moves of the opponents, giving it a true meaning of self-defense, and the approach that defense is the best offense. It's also compared to the flow of water, because rather than outright stopping and blocking an enemy's attack, it involves you hitting them back with a move on your own to keep the action going. Displaying solid footwork to keep balance is a must-have as well, in order to be centered and make quick decisions. To show a glimpse of this in Rock Lee, let's look back at arguably one of the most iconic fights in not just Naruto, but anime history, Rock Lee vs. Gaara. During the very much entertaining Chunin exams, one highlight fight was these two going at it. Gaara looked almost non-human, yet Lee was giving him a run for his money with his speed and martial arts. Lee didn't just spam one move multiple times like an amateur on Street Fighter, but he went back and forth with a bunch of different combos, which included kicks from his Leaf Hurricane, a series of high-flying punches, and even a little grappling with his Leaf Lotus. While it might not have been enough to finish off the monster in Gaara, there's no doubt in my mind that Bruce Lee would have been impressed by Rock Lee's unique abilities. There's also the power of the 8 gates that Rock Lee showed a little bit of, opening up 5 of them, which, to be honest, you really can't compare to any sort of martial arts or artist, because it's otherworldly. I mean, maybe Brock Lesnar? But on a serious note, the concept itself though is more relatable and beautiful, which means pushing past your usual physical limitations when the unexpected arises. This pretty much defines Lee's entire life story, so it's a smooth play on words. Moving on, let's talk about another one of Lee's moves, the Drunken Fist. As Naruto fans already know, he put up a show against Kimimaro, bringing out his other side. With a bottle of sake, Lee fights in an almost zombie-like manner that's somehow very effective and catches his opponent off guard. When I first watched this in action, it was hilarious and ridiculous, which made me think that this was some crazy random idea. Turns out, I was completely wrong, and it actually goes way back in time. Giving a little history lesson, some historians say the Drunken Fist or Zi Quan dates back to the Song dynasty of 960 to 1279 AD. The martial arts itself represents the copying of a drunk person's movements, not even an actual drunk person fighting themselves. There's also the book Water Margin that received a lot of credit for this style, which involves one of the characters, Wu Song, fighting other people as well as a tiger while under the influence of 18 bottles of wine. I thought Habib Nurmagomedov grappling with a bear as a kid sober was impressive enough. Going forward a little closer to the present, we see another resemblance of the Drunken Fist within Jackie Chan, who played Wang Fi Hung, a drunk fighter in the 1978 film, The Legend of the Drunken Master. Ironically, the character drank to become more disciplined with his movements, and the story is centered around avenging his father, who had a conflict within his business. This is where the concept has truly taken off, with Jackie Chan of course being a big-time name. So not only has Bruce Lee played a part in Rock Lee's development, but Jackie Chan as well. Modeled after two movie stars seems like some pretty impressive company if you ask me. Now let's talk about an influence within the show. We can't forget about the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Guy either, because he really was Lee's chosen family. His character is very similar to Lee for obvious reasons, and I could go on about Guy forever with him being one of the best characters in Naruto, but I'll save that for another video. What I will say is he played an important role in Lee's life and never doubted him when others did. I strongly believe Kishimoto wrote Guy's character with the great qualities of a father in mind. When Lee first joined Team Guy, he let it be known that he was going to be great at taijutsu without knowing any sort of ninjutsu or genjutsu. No matter what, his mentality was to always be a great ninja despite being different. Even his teammates Neji and Tenten were baffled at such a remark, yet Guy was impressed with this claim. Rock Lee knew he had to reach a level of superhuman strength in order to make up for his weaknesses. This meant training himself past the point where he was tired, whether it was with push-ups, jump ropes, sit-ups, you name it. Although he's known for always carrying an overdose of energy, there was a moment in time where he felt like he was going to fail no matter what he did, and that he would be a loser and couldn't do anything about it. Guy changed his way of thinking when he told Lee that him going through failures was an art itself, which is the art of perseverance. Being able to move forward despite taking loss after loss is something many people really can't do. Lee realized that those failures are actually lessons by learning from his mistakes and used it to become the taijutsu specialist he is today. Not knowing ninjutsu and genjutsu wasn't going to stop him from becoming a ninja. Influences. Matter of fact, if you look at his influence in the anime world, it seems like his character trait of a person not having the ordinary powers of a usual hero in their respective world is now seen throughout multiple animes these days. If I had to name some right off the bat, Asta from Black Clover not having magic, Deku from My Hero Academia not having superpowers, and finally Mash from Mashle Magic and Muscles not having magic are a few that come to mind. What's pretty cool is a few years back, when the Jump Force game on PC came out, Naruto and Asta had a conversation where Asta was telling him how he desired to be Wizard King despite not having magic. Naruto admired that dream, telling him he resembles his friend Rock Lee, who became a ninja despite not having ninjutsu. Both Rock Lee and Asta put their bodies through rigorous training and overcame tremendous odds to get to where they are today. What's also crazy is the fact that these three are the main characters in their own anime as well. Can you imagine how cool a spin-off would be of seeing Rock Lee as the main character in Naruto? And no, Rock Lee and his ninja pals do not count, even though I actually quite enjoyed it. Anyways, going back to what I was mentioning, while he might not be the sole influence of characters like these three, it's fair to say that he at least played a part in paving this trend. It's becoming more of a niche that's trending upwards, and in large part it's because people love underdog stories like these where hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard enough. This goes to my final point, where Rock Lee isn't just an inspiration for fictional characters, but to us as well. Rock Lee is a representation of a true warrior. One that never lacked spirit, never complained about the work that was given, and most importantly, never caved into the negativity that surrounded him. He was always exceeding his limits, just like how you would expect from a disciple of Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, and Mike Guy. While he definitely had some influences like those three, he also did some influencing himself. It wasn't just other anime characters, but people around the world being moved by the man as well. When looking at him overall, I want people to take away his discipline and the fact that he never let his inabilities hold him back. We all have our own fair share of weaknesses, and sometimes it hurts us to the point where we forget about our strengths. We should be looking at this from a different perspective. And yes, while we'll always work on things we aren't good at, it shouldn't take away from our amazing traits. For Rock Lee, this eventually became taijutsu, and he knew he had to hone this one skill in order to be a ninja. No matter how many times he's fallen short of this goal, he always picks himself back up. After all, success isn't determined by winning, but rather our ability to bounce back from our failures. So looking at his life, let me finish this video by asking you this. Whether you're building a business, practicing martial arts, or working towards any sort of goal, are you really doing your best? You might be tired from working hard, but that doesn't always mean you're at your limit. You don't owe it to anybody else, but you at least owe it to yourself to reach your full potential. When we can say that we are going above and beyond our expectations, all of us can say that we're truly living a life like Rock Lee.